Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. Well, we're working on Janáček. Oh gosh, what could be more fun than that? Really nothing, I gotta tell you. And we begin with the Macropolis case in English, featuring Cheryl Barker as Emilia Marty, Neil Davies, John Graham Hall, Elena Xanthudakis, Robert Brubaker, John Wagner, and all these other people. Let's see, Thomas Walker and Graham Clark and Graham Danby and Kathleen Wilkinson and the chambermaid, Susanna Tudor Thomas, for all you fans of chambermaids and opera. The English National Opera Orchestra and Chorus under Charles Mackerras. Oh boy. And there's also Sir Charles Mackerras talking about Janáček, an interview with Rodney Milnes. So this is lots of fun to have. Well, how's the performance? The conducting is thrilling. It's an exciting performance. Mackerras actually drives it very hard, harder than his Decca recording. But the Decca recording in Czech is the better of the two, only because the singing is finer overall. You know, you have Elizabeth Soderstrom as Emilia Marty, and Cheryl Barker is okay. The problem is the singers tend to scream. You can't really understand the English terribly well, and they just shriek at each other. The scene in, Act 2, between Marty and Hawk Sendorf, the Baron, who's Baron Hawk, and yes, Count Hawk Sendorf, one of her former lovers, with Graham Clark. I mean, they just stand there and shriek at each other. I've never heard anything like it in my life. It sounds like the coyotes that sometimes pass by my bedroom window at night. So, but still, it's exciting. It's raw and exciting as hell. And, Mackerras doing Janáček is just worth doing simply because it exists. And so I take it from there. Then here's an interesting thing. Janáček's second opera, The Beginning of a Romance. It's an opera in one act by the story that it's based on was by Gabriela Pricová, who wrote Jennifer, and it's entirely based on folk music, Czech folk music. It's 49 minutes long. It's the one Janáček opera. František Žilek is the conductor here. He's the Brno Janáček Opera Chorus and Orchestra. It's authentic as can be. It's a Czech radio performance from 1976. It is not perfect. It has some problems with the broadcast source. It gives you a sense of what the music is and what's going on in it. And really, that's all you can say. We really do need, I think, a good modern recording of The Beginning of a Romance. And I can't remember. I think one came out. Let me just take a peek here. Because, I have you as a somewhat captive audience, and we'll just take a look. Janáček, I should say it right? Janáček. Janáček, Beginning of a Romance. Let me just see if I'm not mistaken here. Yep, there's this one, the one I just showed you, this thing here. And I don't know if there's another. It's $39. I would not spend that kind of money. No other recording that I can see. So, maybe one of you can tell me if there's something else available. Pretty music. It's one of those peasant things, village peasants hopping around. And okay, the peasants are done peasanting. Then we've got the Žilek recording of Fate. Oh, this is a fun opera. Oh, it's so stupid. It's in 3 acts, technically, but it's not much more than an hour and 15 minutes long for all 3 acts. It's, a guy is married to he's not married. He's in love with this woman whose mother hates him, and they meet at a spa. The whole first act is set at the spa. Its music is gorgeous. And they run into each other again and fall in love, and, meet miserable mother-in-law is hysterical. And in Act 2, they're married and she's insane. And the mother-in-law, that is, has gone crazy, and she's living upstairs in the attic where mother-in-laws always live. And she flings herself down a flight of stairs, taking her daughter with her. They both die, and they have a little boy. And it's just, and they all scream about fate, fatum, all the time. It's just ridiculous. Then in Act 3, the composer has written an opera about his life and his wife and all that stuff. His son has grown up to be a composer too. And they're all at the conservatory, and they're about to give the premiere of the opera, and a bolt of lightning strikes the conservatory and short circuits everything, and all the lights go out, and everybody stands around going, "Fate!" And that's the end of the opera. Oh, it couldn't possibly be more stupid. But the music is glorious. Absolutely glorious. So this, as I mentioned, is the Superphone recording. Macaris did a recording of Fate in English, and it's wonderfully exciting and better detailed. This is sort of sonically a little bit murky, but it's the Brno Janáček opera. It's the hometown team, and it's on Superphone. And I wonder if Superphone's going to do a box of all the Janáček operas, like they did the Smetana operas. They should do it. They should do that. They should do all the Dvořák operas too. That would really, really be good. But don't get your hopes up. Then we've got this fabulous live recording of Yennefer featuring the Opera Orchestra of New York under Eve Queller, with Gabriela Benáčková. Leonie Rieseneck is the Kostelnička. It's amazing. Latza is Víslav Ochman, and Števa is Peter Kazaris. The singing is wonderful. The conducting, it's Eve Queller. It's not the most dynamic, and it's a pickup orchestra, but they do a respectable job. I was there at Carnegie Hall for this concert. It's taken from a single performance at Carnegie Hall, and thank God, recorded live at Carnegie Hall on 30 March 1988. I was there with my friends from Record Masters in Baltimore. They came up to New York, and it was really fun. My friend Jeff and his husband Peter, and well, I have to tell you, this is just so much fun. So forget the opera for a minute. Before the opera, we went out to dinner. We went out to dinner at this restaurant. It was across the street from Carnegie Hall. There was this, I forget what it was called, but it was this old school, old money restaurant. And we decided to splurge a little bit. We went there, and it was heavy velvet drapes and tables, with crystal stuff, and it was all kind of dark and murky, and the food was okay. The food wasn't bad. But next to us, at the table next to us, was this couple, and it was a guy with his elderly mother and his wife, and his elderly mother was ripped. They were plying her with liquor and asking her questions about where her jewelry was and who was going to inherit it. And as she got progressively drunker, her daughter-in-law would say, "And what are you doing with the emerald pendant, mother?" And she'd be like, "Well, I don't know. I'm going to give it to my niece. I'll see what's going to happen." And she'd say, "No, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure it's in, where did you mention it? Where are you keeping your will? Who's the attorney that you..." Oh, they went through this whole thing. We didn't want to leave. We really didn't. I mean, this was fabulous, but it was nothing compared to what we were seeing next at the table next to us. And unfortunately, we had to go to the opera. We would have stayed for the whole conversation because it was getting really, really hot and heavy. They were getting into all of her assets, and she was just so drunk, and it was so funny. Anyway, so we went to see the opera, and it was semi-stage. I mean, semi-stage is nothing. There was an orchestra, and these people would come out in costume, somewhat in costume, and sing. The singing was glorious. I mean, Benáčková was a great Yennefer. Ochman was a wonderful Czech tenor who could do anything, singing in Slavic languages. Peter Kazaris was fine as Števa, but Leonie Rieseneck, Leonie Rieseneck was the reason everyone showed up. The place was packed, absolutely packed, sold out. And she got like a 20-minute standing ovation at the end, which is on here, by the way. If you want to hear 20 minutes of clapping, just listen to the end. Everybody goes nuts. And it's the kind of performance where if you were there, you would have gone nuts. You would have. But, listening to it on records, you admire the singing tremendously. The conducting in the orchestra, not so much. Of course, it's not the revised Urtext or text edition of the opera. But we don't care because Rieseneck is out there shrieking her lungs out in the second act as she's killing the baby. And oh my God, it was really fun. And you got a program with the libretto in Czech, and we spent most of the time between acts trying to find the single Czech word with the most consonants in a row between vowels. That's fun to do with Slavic languages, particularly Czech. Because, kostelnička and all these, it's just these aggregations of consonants. And, oh my, what a night. So when this came out, I was just thrilled. I really was, because it was just a memento of a wonderful occasion and of some really great singing. So, yes, that baby goes there. And last but not least, we've talked about this before. This performance of Yennefer with Žílek and also Benáčková, and the fabulous Nadezhda Kniplova as Kostelnička, who is, I just love this costume here that she's in, which I've shown you before, because it's in, I don't know, like the greatest somethings ever, one of my series, where we talk about the greatest 3 minutes of opera. I used this recording. Look at her. Look at her in her fabulous Czech peasant outfit with the scary wig and the army boots that she's wearing. I mean, you just know she's wearing leather and has a whip underneath all of this stuff. But it's a fabulous performance. Also, I mean, not or text, but thrilling to listen to, with Willem Przybylj as Latza. He's terrific, and Števa is Vladimir Krejcik. Yeah, close enough. Listen, I do what I can with this. And wow, it's a really good native, ethnic, local performance from Janáček's hometown team. So that's 5 operas. Oh, we've got so many more to talk about. It's ridiculous. But Janáček, you can do this forever. And I hope I do. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.